Well, hello. I really love this time of year with the increase in hours of daylight, the warming temperatures, and the actual risk of frost is now minimal, particularly in this area. But what I like more than anything is the subtle changes that you can find each day in the garden if you look carefully. So let me show you what I've noticed. So I'm going to start with my peas. These are the Kent Blue, and these are growing quite tall. So I planted these out on the 10th of April, so that's 16 days ago, and they were plants about that big. And now look at them. So they're getting well established and they seem quite happy there. And then the meteor peas that were in the guttering, they also went out 16 days ago and they've now got flowers. So that's very exciting because flowers mean pods and pods mean peas. So my broad beans are beginning to absolutely romp away now. I need to put in a further line of support because they've outgrown the 2 rows that I've already put in. And if you look closely, I'll bring the camera in, they've actually got flowers on them as well. In fact, I'm looking along, nearly all of them have got flowers. So this I am extremely excited about because this is probably going to produce my first harvest of the year. So very satisfying. So let me show you the carrots. So I've got 2 buckets. This is the Autumn King, and you may notice there's a few of the true leaves coming. And then in this one I've got 3 rows of the Harlequin, so that's the multicoloured ones, and again they've got some true leaves forming. And next to that I've got a faint row of Amsterdam Forcing 3. It was old seed and only a few have germinated, but that's fine. And this I'm really pleased about. This is a dahlia. I haven't lifted it for 2 winters now, and each spring it has come back, and it's come back now. I've put the slug collar around it just to protect it because I know the slugs like it. Now if you're a beginner gardener, you may find some tasks a bit daunting, but this may reassure you that even seasoned gardeners can make some mistakes and drop some real clangers. Now, I've been gardening for over 4 decades and I still make mistakes, we all do. One of the areas is pruning. It's an absolute minefield, and you can watch lots of videos, you can read all your gardening books, you can look at diagrams, and you can still get it spectacularly wrong. And I think I have made 2 quite big errors. So the first one relates to my cordon apple, and the second one to my clematis, which is on the back fence. Let me show you what I mean. So let's start with my apple. Now I did lots of reading and checking before I pruned it. Now let's go back a bit. So I got this in the winter of 2022-2023, and I planted it out about April 2023. I think I pruned it at the end of 2023 during the winter, and it was very successful, and it had loads of blossom the following spring, which was 2024, last year, and it had quite a bit of fruit for a young tree. So roll on winter 2024, and I pruned it again, and one of the things you have to look for is leaf buds, or the difference between leaf buds and fruit buds, and I thought I'd identified which was which, and it's a nice shape, so I'm pleased with that. But there's no blossom I've had 2 tiny bits of blossom at the bottom, if I can zoom in. And that is probably the only fruit I'm going to get on it this year, because it looks as if I may have pruned it incorrectly, because I've got plenty of leaf but no blossom. So this is my Clemetus. It's a Montana. It's called Sunrise, and it is in group 1. Now Clematis come in 3 groups. So you've got spring flowering, which is group 1. Summer flowering, or repeat flowering, is group 2. And group 3 are, I think, late summer, autumn flowering. So with the spring flowering, you shouldn't have to really prune it very often. But what I did last year was I allowed it to get top heavy, so it's got all the growth at the top and not much down the bottom. So I've just been doing some reading, and what it is suggesting is that when it's finishing flowering at the end of spring, to cut it back, because the flowers form on the previous year's growth. So if I prune it before the summer, then it'll start to shoot again, and all those shoots are the ones that will flower next year. So, but it's going to be glorious. It's absolutely covered at the moment. So another issue I've had to tackle today is the honeysuckle. Now it's put on a huge amount of growth over the last few weeks and was looking incredibly healthy until the last few days, and I've noticed quite a bit of leaf drop and yellowing. And I have to say, this particular honeysuckle has been really quite temperamental, but I did some reading and it suggested to give it a really good dose of liquid seaweed to feed it and give it a bit of a boost. So I've done that. We'll just have to keep an eye on it over the week or the next 2 weeks and see how it responds. This is a new addition. I've treated myself to a little olive tree. So I just need to get a rustic terracotta pot for it. I hope that's going to be happy there. So as you can see, there's been quite a few subtle changes over the last couple of weeks, and that's all down to the the longer daylight hours and the extra warmth that we're experiencing now. Now next week we're supposed to be having increased temperatures, possibly up to 25, even 26 degrees, and that is going to make a huge difference. So if you're out and about in the garden next week, don't forget that you're probably going to need to water a lot of your plants, but anything that you've recently sown will probably start to germinate a lot quicker with the increase in temperatures. And I'm hoping that my sweet corn and the squash will start to germinate. There's nothing showing at the moment, but everything else, the beans are coming up and the courgettes are coming up, so that's really exciting. That tells me summer is on the way. So we're in mid-spring now. We've got May round the corner. May is my absolute favourite month. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what changes you've noticed in your garden, and what you're sowing at the moment and what you're planting out. And if you're new to my channel, then please consider subscribing. So I shall see you all in the next one. Happy gardening, everybody. I'm Annie, and this is my kitchen garden.